Number three, we're going to go to a pitcher that had a down year, I think definitely comparative to expectations. And it's kind of been a trend. I think at the end of the day, you could also be like, was this guy like really a massive failure? It's against expectations. And we're talking about Zac Gallen, our own Zac Gallen, who in 2023 had 200 innings pitched, over 220 strikeouts, a 3.47 ERA, but his expected ERA was bigger. This past year, same thing. ERA a little bit worse. Expected batting average still a decent amount higher. He was not healthy. He was not able to stay on the field enough. So I think he had just south of 150 innings pitched. Expected batting average for 2 straight years has been up. He got away with some stuff last year. He did lower the hard hit, but his strikeout rate went down. His walk rate went up 3%. That was a really, really big change. He got destroyed on his four-seam fastball this year. He tried to make up for it by throwing even more knuckle curves, which was good, but I think that attributed to the walk rate going up a decent amount. And I think the big narrative with Zac Gallen was like, this is a guy that had top 15 SP upside, but there was so many innings and fatigue going on. He's now going into a contract year with the Diamondbacks, coming off of a subpar year, and he's outside the top 100. Do you have the wherewithal to sell, or I guess buy Zac Gallen's crappiness here? Are you going to sell it that we're going to have a big bounce back?
I'm going to sell it. I don't know if the bounce back is going to be back to where he was, but it's definitely going to be better than what he was this season. And really, this is from, watching it happen. Every single start was, he just didn't have the gas. They yanked him early, and a lot of starts, as you said, he was missing more, and, eating up more pitches early in games, which caused him to leave these games early. I think he was worn out, and he just, the biggest issue is that they let him pitch through it, which I just did not like. I think they should have shut him down for a little bit.
Well, that's why Brent Strom was, by the way, fired.
Yes,
like he was the purveyor of all that. They had a couple guys. I mean, they let Corbin Carroll hit through it. They let Zac Gallen pitch through it. That did not work.
Yeah, I don't really like what they did with him last season. So, a lot of that is, and I'm sure he wanted to push through it as well. But getting a full, no playoffs for us this year. So getting a full off season of rest, I think, is going to do a lot for him. Also, you take a little pressure off signing Corbin Burns, honestly, because he was by far the best pitcher. Merrill Kelly missed a big chunk of the year. Jordan Montgomery was a gigantic failure. So was Gallen and Fott was kind of all the D-backs had. And he wanted to compete through that to help the team. I understand it, but it didn't do good things for his numbers. It didn't do great for his production. He was still decent. He wasn't, for a starting pitcher, not for where you paid for him in your draft. So
not remotely close to where you paid.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of those years where he bounces back and he looks a lot better. So I'm going to sell him as a failure, and I'm going to be buying Zac Gallen if people let him fall this year.
Exactly. And hopefully it doesn't get too confusing. Again, this is where you want to sell a guy to have them return value. And I think I'm on board with that, especially due to the cost. An interesting thing I was looking here, 2022, through the first 5 innings, he never had an ERA. So that's first inning, second inning. It counts ERA per inning. He never had an ERA over 4. As a matter of fact, over 3.72 was the highest ERA. That was the 5th inning. 1 ERA in the first, 2 ERA in the second, 3rd inning. He's weird, by the way. I'm just going to throw this out to you guys. He's just like the best 3rd inning pitcher I've ever seen. He always has in the 3rd inning, which you're at the back end of the lineup. He's just destroying. He's had a 1.06 or lower ERA in the 3rd inning for 3 straight years, whatever that's about. Going to 2023, to the first 5 innings, he only had a 4 ERA in 1 of those 5 innings, and that was in the 5th inning. He did have some 3s in there. 4th, 2nd, and 1st inning was 3 ERA, but still, we're not over 4. This past year, in 2024, through the first 5 innings, all but the 3rd inning were over 4 ERA. And ERA is ERA, whatever. But I think what it starts to speak to is it speaks to early in counts. Here's another example of it. In 2023, in the first inning, 38 strikeouts, 6 walks in 34 innings pitched. And this is 2023. In the second inning, 34 innings, 8 walks, 45 innings, strikeouts. So that is 14 walks combined the entire season through the first 2 innings. You got me?
Yep.
In the first inning, in only 27 innings pitched, 17 walks this past year. This speaks back to him getting squeezed, not trusting his fastball. He tries to throw changeups out of counts. He wasn't getting those, and he kept going back to the knuckle curve and being a real stubborn ass about it. 17 walks in the first inning. That hurts. 10 walks in the second. That's 27 walks in the first 2 innings. It's almost double what he did that previous year. So I think he can identify those inconsistencies. We're telling you stuff like, does any of that help really? Like, we can identify like, oh, there's where some of the problems are. I think there's some big positives. The stuff is still there. The knuckle curve is still great. He had a 3.41 second half ERA. So he actually got just a little bit better.
And they rested him a lot of June.
Yeah, exactly. From the maintenance. I don't think the fastball is going to get hit quite as much. The curveball and the cutter had a 33% strikeout rate. It's going to be getting the changeup back. 24% the year prior, only 18% this past year. It's a big walk year for contract. I'm a little bit worried about defensively. You lost Christian Walker, you lost a Gold Glove first baseman, and that's like a benefit to him. But I think there's a ton of run support in there. They're hyper aggressive. You move down the rotation a tiny bit. And I'm really hopeful that the new pitching coach is going to change it. I'm also a sell that this is the version of Zac Gallen. I think the contract year is going to be big. He's looking to get paid. You got a guy like Corbin Burns in front of him. Diamondbacks, it's a tough division, but I'm going to sell that Zac Gallen is stank, and he's a great buy, as a matter of fact.